Hello and welcome. So in this video we are going to create the knuckle joint assembly using Creo. So the number of parts in this assembly are 5. That is the collar shown in the pink color, the pin shown in the white color, the taper pin shown in the green color, the fork end which is shown in the yellow color, and the eye end shown in the red color. We'll start by creating the fork end first. We'll create the cylindrical part first. Select the top plane. These are the dimensions. Inner diameter of the cylinder is 25 and outer diameter is 50. So extrude on both sides, and the distance to be extruded is 18 plus 18 plus 28, which is 64. Next we'll create this D-shaped part, that is this part here. The inner radius is 14, that is diameter is 28, and this inner radius is 14 plus 18, that is 32. So outer diameter is 64. Just like this, total distance is 64. Let us again use the extrude tool. Select this front plane. Create a center line. Create references. To create this inner circle, which is located from the center of this circle, which is shown by the center line in this view at a distance 30. So the radius is 14 or diameter is 28, and the outer circle radius is 32 or diameter is 64, same as this height here. Next you see this square cross section here up to this point, and then from this point onwards the cross section is an octagon. So this is the square cross section up till this point, just like this square cross section, and then from this point onwards the cross section is an octagon. So to create this square cross section as shown here of 28 by 28, you create a rectangle which is symmetric. This distance is 28, and the distance of this point from the center line is given here, not directly, but you can see or you can measure it from center line up to this point. The distance is 105, and if you subtract this 36 from 105, it would be 69. So specify this distance as 69. Next, we'll draw this line. And now we'll delete these segments. So our cross section is ready to be extruded. So here we will have to select extrude on both sides, and then the distance to be extruded is 28. As we know that this distance is 28 and this distance is 28, which is given in the drawing. So done. Next, we want to create this cross section here. Go to extrude and select this surface. Create a reference for this so that we can locate the center of the square cross section. Go to palette, now it's a square cross section. This distance is 28, so we want the distance between these two lines exactly equal to 28. To do so, use the normal tool and specify this distance as 28. So the distance to be extruded is 36. Say done and extrude by 36. Now we want this cylindrical part or circular cross section. Now to locate the center of this cross section, go to sketch, references, and select this plane. So you'll get the center point. Draw a circle of diameter 25 and again extrude it by distance 25. Now we want to remove this inner part. Again use the extrude tool. Select the front plane. Go to sketch, references, select this edge, this edge, this edge, and this edge. create a rectangle using these corner points. I extrude it, extrude on both sides. So the diameter of outer circle is 50. So specify this distance as 50 and say remove material. Press done. Next, we want to add these fillets and these fillets here. So the radius of the fillet given is 8. Go to the round tool, specify the radius 8 and select these edges and say done. Similarly, using round tool, we'll create circular fillets here. The radius is 20. Go to round tool, specify the radius as 20. Pressing the control button, select these edges and say done. Save this file and close the file again. Next part is the eye end. Using extrude, select the top plane. So we'll create again this outer circle of 50, inner circle of 25 and up till this point. So this total is 80 from the center line up to this point and this is 36, so the remaining is 44. Create a rectangle which is symmetric about the horizontal center line. And specify this distance as 28, as we know that the cross section is a square cross section of 28 by 28. This distance from this line to this point is 44. Using normal, specify this distance as 44. What will these segments? So create a geometry which looks like this and extrude this on both sides by distance 28. So we draw this as 28 and then extruded it on both sides of the sketch plane by distance 28. Now we want an octagon cross section here. Go to extrude. Go to references and select this plane. Go to palette. Using normal tool, specify the distance between these two lines as 28 and extrude it by a distance of 36. Next, we want a cylindrical part here. Go to sketch, references, and select this plane. Create a circle of diameter 25 and extrude it by a distance 25. Say done. Now just like how we've used the round tool in the previous case, we'll provide the circular fillets at these places of radius 20 and similarly fillets of radius 8 at these places. While selecting these edges, you should keep the control button pressed so that you create only one set. Say done. Now save the file and close it. Next, we want to create the collar pin and the taper pin. Now the inner radius of the collar should be such that it should fit this pin, which is of diameter 25. So this is 25 and the outer diameter is 38. Select the top plane, create an inner circle of diameter 25 and an outer circle of diameter 38. Extrude it by a distance 12 and select extrude on both sides. Say done. On this pin, we want a hole of diameter 6 which is a through hole. So again select extrude and select this front plane. Draw the circle at the center. The diameter should be 6. Say done. Say extrude on both sides. Now we know the outer diameter is 38. So specify 38 here and say remove material. Press done. Save this file and close this. Next part is this pin. Select extrude and select the top plane to extrude. We'll create this part. The diameter is 13 and this distance is 12. Next, we'll create this part. So this distance is again not given here, but we'll consider from this point up to this point the distance as 82. Select extrude and now select this top surface of this disk. Create a circle of diameter 25, that is this diameter, and extrude it by a distance 82. Say done. Next, we want a hole of diameter 6 to insert this taper pin, and it is located at a distance 82 from this bottom surface. Select extrude, select the front surface or front plane, create a circle on this vertical axis, specify the diameter as 6 and specify this distance as 82. Select done. Select extrude on both sides, specify the distance as 25 and select remove material. Save this file and close it. Next, we want to create the taper pin. So on the taper pin, the taper is 1:30. That means for every 30 mm distance traveled, the diameter would reduce by 1. So at the end of 50, the diameter here, if it is 6, then here the diameter would be, if you calculate the taper, it would be 4.33. To create the taper pin, we will be using the revolve tool. Select the top plane, create a center line. Next, we'll draw a line which is symmetric about the center line. And the distance would be same as the length of the pin, which is 50. On this end, the diameter is 6. So specify or create this line of distance 3, which is the radius of the pin. We are going to revolve this geometry, and similarly create this line here, which is 4.33 divided by 2, that is 2.17. Now to use the revolve tool, we need to use the geometry center line. So create a geometry center line, and we'll revolve this geometry about this line. Set done. So this is the taper pin. Save this file and close it. Next, we'll create the assembly. Let us first add the fork end. So it is not constrained. Select default to constrain it. Next, we will add the eye end. Align this axis and this axis, and then for our next constraint, select mate, select this surface and this surface. So it is fully constrained. Next, add the pin. And align these two axes. So it is still partially constrained. For our next constraint, we'll select mate, select this surface and this surface. Now it is fully constrained. Next, we will add the collar. Align this axis of collar and this axis of the pin. Using move the collar to this position. Now it is partially constrained. For the next constraint, select mate, select this surface of the collar and this surface of the fork end. So this is fully constrained, and here we want to insert our taper pin. So add the taper pin. So we need to align. We know that we have created the taper pin such that it is symmetric about this front plane while creating the part model. So we will align this front plane with this plane of our assembly. So select align, select this front plane of the pin and select this front plane. So now they are aligned. So now it is partially constrained. For our next constraint, select align again, select the axis of the pin and select this axis of the hole in the collar. So now it is fully constrained. Say done. We'll hide this planes and axis. So this is the complete assembly for the knuckle joint. Thank you.